picture I sent you?
Which one?
Conspiracies.
I think so.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah.
I think so. We're good.
Oh, welcome to a queer, a hippie, and a
Were
Karen.
we recording that whole time? You're always tricking me.
I think one of my favorite things that was ever said in one of our podcasts was, Bree, that was your countdown.
You missed it again.
Tessa cheats, though, because she can see my computer screen. So
It goes beep, 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 and then it records.
I don't hear no beeps.
That's your own problem.
Am I deaf?
Do you need your headphones turned up?
I'm not sure, I guess. Wouldn't know how to do it if I did.
Oh my God, you guys. I found out this week
Oh, gosh.
that my husband is out of my league. So have you guys, I know you don't watch a whole lot of TikTok. You're more like the YouTube or the Facebook video.
I see TikToks on, but only the ones that are on Facebook feed.
So there's this filter that you do, and it's like this attractiveness scale of 1 to 10. You just kind of hold it on your face, and then it tells you your attractiveness, right? I did it 4 times. 3 times I got a 1.
What?
And 1 time I got a 2. So
Too bad you two guys are brother and sister, because Tessa is willing to settle for a 1.
please listen to episode Would You Rather.
I got a 6
Wait, now. I need to do this,
on
guys.
the first try.
We're doing this before I leave here today.
Okay, so then my
you sure
husband
you
was
want
sitting
Yes.
my husband was sitting next to me on the couch. So you can do it like where you record him, right? He got a fucking 10.
I'm not surprised.
I switched it to my face, a 2. And that was my 5th time trying, right? So then yesterday, we were celebrating my mom's birthday. And my other sister wanted to do it. And everyone says, oh, you and your other sister look like you're the male version of her and she's the female version of her. And I'm just like, no, I'm the fat version. She's the she's the hot housewife or hot mom version. So I did it. So she got like an 8 or something like that. Switch it back to me. 4.
Hey, that's pretty good, though, compared to what you were getting.
So after she did hers, it kind of realized, like, oh, this guy kind of looks like her.
And
So
then
we're
we
going to
should
have
just-
to bump him up a couple points because he looks like her.
I think it's more like TikTok was like, how many times is this guy going to try this filter? We need to boost his confidence a little bit. And of course, my husband's so sweet. He's like, oh no, it has to do, the lighting was better on my face than it was on your face. And so he did try to like boost me up. But yeah, my husband is out of my league.
Sad day.
So I'm the lucky one. He's the unlucky one. We'll have to do that on you.
Yeah, I need to
see
see
what
my
it is.
number. It's too bad my other half's not here.
I think you need to do a TikTok account. And don't go looking for that TikTok of my husband and I because he wouldn't let me post it. So it just sits in my drafts. Also, you can find us on TikTok, Queer Hippie Karen, at Queer Hippie Karen for snippets. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. And let me tell you guys, this is work. And I'm gonna start giving this work out.
Oh, no.
So
Nope.
You volunteered.
we have this account where we upload just our sound, right? For podcasts you listen to on Spotify or Apple or whatever program you're using. And that's super easy, right? We have a device that records sound. I upload it. I don't really edit because we consider ourselves unscripted and unapologetic. So what is in there is what you get, right? But the video one, like YouTube has to approve it. Like the first one that we did, it kind of started out with Tessa not being a hoe. So I called it like Who's a Hoe or something like that. And YouTube was like, you can't do that. Nicki Minaj, though, can have all her hoe songs. But I guess you have to replace the E with an asterisk, and then it gets through, and you're okay.
Okay. That kind of like reminds me of a TikTok trend that's a thing, kind of a little off topic, but I think it's hilarious. The trend where like husbands turn on like that twerking song and get their wives to start twerking, and then it like transitions into like you can't turn a hoe into a housewife song. And to see their reactions is hilarious. It's one of my favorite things to watch.
That's fantastic. I think Willow, she's playing, but she's whining while she plays. I think she's over us podcasting today.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about conspiracies and the psychology of conspiracies. What are high conspiracies that people actually believe in? What are conspiracies that are out there that people are just like, that's not a thing, right? Mm-hmm. So what is your guys' view on people that believe in conspiracies? Do you have a belief that they're
Geniuses.
crazy? Geniuses, coming from the hippie.
I think that they're logical in thinking beyond what we're expected to think.
Beyond what the news tells
Yes.
us and beyond
Yes.
what social media tells us and the government tells us. So this says, this is from learn.kqed.org. And it asks, are conspiracy theories harmless fun, a serious problem, or something in between? So it says conspiracy theories usually center on a sinister plot by a powerful organization. They are almost never true. Some conspiracy theories are rooted in racism or economic anxiety, like the theory that foreign-born Illuminati secretly control the government. Others just seem outlandish, like the Earth is the only flat planet in a galaxy of round ones. So that's kind of what they base what conspiracy theories are based on.
But is it a conspiracy in itself to try and convince us that most conspiracy theories are not true?
Yes.
It is.
It is.
Oh man, I got so much to say.
Yeah, this one might be longer.
So there is some psychology behind conspiracy theories, right? I was doing some research on, just kind of asking the question, are people that believe in conspiracy theories crazy? Or is there a connection between a mental health disorder and believing in conspiracy theories? And so I found this article on healthline.com, and it's about the psychology behind conspiracy theories, and why people do or do not believe in conspiracy theories. So they say, why do people believe conspiracy theories? And they say certain life experiences and personality traits make people more likely to buy into fraudulent claims. Now, this article is stating that conspiracy theories just are fraud. They're not true. There's no information behind them, right? So this is more of a biased article. Whereas, I guess when I think about conspiracy theories, there are some where I'm like, really? That's what we're going to say? But then there are some that's like, well, that makes sense to me. I think if anything goes against what media tells us and what the government tells us, then they label that a conspiracy theory. If
Right.
it's against any of that we're told how to live.
And go play Krabby Butt.
This says a 2017 research found that people who buy into conspiracy theories believe they benefit socially and existentially from them. So it's saying that you believe in this conspiracy theory because it benefits you.
It's dead. Go play.
I mean, I'm sure that can be true.
Emerson, where's your water? Where's your water?
This is birth control for our listeners.
Be a pet parent.
Yes.
I hope some people find it refreshing, actually, that we have the kids and it shows that we're real people. This is who we are. This is our life.
This is what it is for us to actually
Yeah.
talk to each other. Like the parents, there's
Yep.
always kids hanging. There's always...
Kids
I can't-
crying.
I can't fix it.
What's
It's
wrong?
Dead. I don't have a charger.
Oh, what do we need?
Go play
Emerson.
What was he doing on that?
a game, but he doesn't want a movie. And he
Emerson.
doesn't want a show. And he doesn't want
You
a
have
game.
to talk and let me know what you're needing. Look at Bree will give you her phone.
Or you can go watch the movie on in the living room.
Do you want to play this?
Or you can go take a nap.
He's looking interested, but he only wants what Tessa has.
You could sit up here, but you have to be quiet.
You want to come sit up here? Okay. Okay, come sit up here and join us. World, welcome Emmy. Willow does not like that. If you want to follow Tessa and her family more, she actually does have an Instagram called
Little Explorers.
Three Little Explorers.
3little_explorers for
Yep.
the Instagram. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook.
Tessa does do a lot of traveling with her children, camping with her children. She just did a whole road trip to the East Coast and back with her kids. She talks about things that work, that don't work, being a single mom, and trying to do it all. Follow her. And the kids are cute. Okay. So do you think that you believe in conspiracy theories because it benefits you?
I'm sure to a point. I think
No, I think it would be much easier to not follow conspiracies because then you can just go with the flow of everything.
So another theory, another conspiracy about conspiracies, or what this article says, is because people want to feel smart. So having information or knowledge that no one else has can naturally make us feel unique. So a 2017 study indicates that people who believe in conspiracy theories need to feel unique by knowing scarce information.
No.
I think they're pushing it too far by saying that they're making it sound so negative that a person needs to feel unique. I think if people have a difference of opinion or they feel that they have some sort of knowledge that others don't have, most people naturally want to share that and probably get excited maybe about sharing or knowing something, but I think it's going a little far to say that it's the need.
I don't like this article.
This article does seem pretty biased.
I
It
think
does.
that they're trying to make conspiracy theorists seem crazy. But why would you not want to fit in?
Right.
If you had the choice, and why would you choose to not fit in with other people and to argue all the time?
I did read another article that sometimes people believe in conspiracy theories to form a bond or a friendship with someone who kind of has the same thoughts on that subject, right? On that conspiracy, on that belief.
Yeah, I think that's human nature, though, just to gravitate towards people that have similar likes and dislikes as you.
Right.
Is really what that boils down to.
Well, and this one says people who believe in conspiracy theories may have a different moral compass. Some people feel participating in COVID-19 mitigation efforts, such as wearing a mask and limiting contact to people in your household, is a moral obligation to keep one safe. Some may also feel that taking measures to halt climate change, including reducing fossil fuel usage, is also a moral obligation to make the world safer for future generations. On the other hand, some people value individual freedoms as a moral imperative, and this may lessen their sense of responsibility towards collective concerns. So it's almost like the article saying the collective concern, and we don't talk a whole lot about COVID-19. If you want to listen to that, there's probably a crap ton of podcasts into that. But that the collective concern is that COVID-19 is something, and we should all do our part to keep ours safe.
Stop it.
And this article is saying that the conspiracy theory may have a separate moral compass that they believe in their rights, right? Their right to not wear a mask, their right to not get vaccinated, and all that kind of stuff. But I think your moral identity or your moral compass dictates everything you do in your life,
Oh, yeah,
regardless
for sure.
of whether it's conspiracy or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think one is better than the other. Like,
Right.
You can't say my morals are better than your morals because everyone just has different beliefs and they have different things that drive them.
And that also goes to a person's reality, right? I remember I was talking to a doctor once, and it was, are people crazy, or is their reality just different?
Right.
What they believe to be real and what their reality is in life, does that necessarily make them crazy? Or is
Right.
it just a different reality than yours?
It's a good point.
You know?
Sometimes I question if my own thinking is crazy.
Oh, sometimes yes.
Like, am I nuts? I'll ask people that. Like, am I crazy or... What's your
I
thoughts?
ask you that all the time.
Right.
And I just feel like I'll be the first to admit I am a conspiracy theorist. Do I buy into every single conspiracy? No. Do I buy into some that most others don't? Yes. I think life is this one big gray area. And so a lot of times I'll believe bits and pieces of a conspiracy theorist, but I can logically break it down and be like, okay, well, this part of it does make sense. But taking it to this level, that's going a little too far for me. But I don't think that the world is black and white.
Right.
There's always this big gray area.
And I also get annoyed that if it doesn't follow the norm of what the media and the government tells you, or the basis consensus of Americans or the world, then it's a conspiracy.
Right.
Why? Why is it that? Now, are some conspiracies maybe a little off? You know? Like,
Well, yeah.
that seems a little weird, right? But I mean, there's like conspiracies that man never went on the moon. They're talking about like where the shadow is from that guy, where the flag is literally blowing in the wind, or is it
Right.
propped that way? And I don't know. A lot of times I don't give my opinions to conspiracy theories that I don't care enough to research about.
Right.
Right? Because you could go down what they call the rabbit hole. And you're never going to, they always say, get your sources from good sources. Well, who dictates good sources? Is Fox News a
Exactly.
good source? Is ABC News a good source? Is our president a good source? Like, who dictates who the source is?
Exactly.
And if you don't follow the norm of our census of people or our government or our media, then you're a conspiracy theorist. And you're just crazy.
And I think that's what they want us to think.
Right.
Which is a whole nother, like I said,
That's
conspiracy
a
in
whole
itself.
other topic, too, because then that creates hate between races. It
Yeah.
creates hate between sexes, genders,
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff. They say that a lot of conspiracy theories have a basis of racism or sexism.
Yeah.
So, you want to come sit with me? Come here. Yeah.
That's like, this is another one controversial. But like the 9/11 conspiracy.
I read that one last night.
That's a very, very intriguing one to me. And for me, the conspiracy makes more sense than the logical answer we have been given for what happened there.
What we've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Tessa. She was so excited about this topic, and then we should have done this one first when her kids were happy, right? Yeah. So Tessa did text me last night this conspiracy chart for 2021, and it's kind of, you can look it up. It's credit to Abby Richards, and you can find her on TikTok at Tufology on TikTok, and on Twitter at ABBIEASR. And she created this conspiracy thart. Can you hear me talking? Conspiracy chart, and it kind of has it's like like those iceberg ones. So the bottom of the iceberg is grounded in reality, and the top ones are detached from reality.
I don't like that phrase.
Detached from reality?
Yeah.
Right. It goes back to whose reality are we talking about?
Right. And who's creating the reality?
Right. Like, yeah, if you create this chart, then this is your reality of what conspiracies are detached from reality. Right?
Yeah. It should be more like detached from
The census.
society standards.
Right.
media beliefs.
So, grounded in reality. And I wish this got a little bit bigger because it's really... Oh, it does get bigger. So, grounded in reality, Watergate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know too... I remember...
I know a little about it,
Was that
but-
during Clinton's term? Was Watergate?
No, that was Reagan. Wasn't
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, the Watergate?
We're
And he
gonna-
was like,
we're gonna sound
I am
so
not a crook. Isn't that him? Am I wrong? I probably sound like an idiot.
You should be on camera.
Is it
Bree.
Reagan or Nixon?
I think it
one
was
of those
Nixon
two.
was I'm not a crook.
Isn't that the
I can't
Watergate
read
scandal,
this.
the I'm not a crook thing?
I think so.
Or am I all messed up? I think it's Richard Nixon.
Oh my god, conspiracy theorists are going to listen to this and be like, you guys are fucking idiots. Go back to your own reality. So that's considered the speculative. So that's anything like Watergate is saying that that's grounded in reality. I can't read the other ones. COINTELPRO. I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of that one either.
Tessa, can you read any of these?
I'm blind.
I know. So then there's a speculation line. So above that speculation line are things like UFOs, Area 51. Now, I feel like we could do a whole segment or episode on aliens, right? Like, to me, aliens are not a conspiracy theory. I think it's crazy for us to believe that in this vast, huge universe, that we are the only living species in it.
Yeah. Sorry, folks
don't
out
care
there
enough.
that this is going to offend. I think it's ignorant,
She just
actually, to think that we are the only life in a galaxy as large as the galaxy we're in.
Right.
I don't think aliens are real.
I am surprised
I'm
by
shocked
that.
at that.
Really?
You think we're the only life form in the
I think
entire...
we're all in a simulation and this is fake.
See, there's a different one.
Okay.
But now, who created the simulation? In my belief, aliens.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates isn't old enough. We'd have to go. I guess if we're in a simulation,
We wouldn't know.
concept of time is what we're told.
True.
What are those aliens that my husband calls?
Oh, what are those? What does he call them?
Husband. What are those aliens you talk about? Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
So look that up. Anunnaki.
Are those aliens or are those just...
No, they're alien. They're like the first...
They're talking about how I think Anunnakis like created the pyramids.
Yeah, but are they aliens or is that just like
I think
old
that is the
species of
conspiracy
people?
theory that that species of people were actually aliens.
And that's the thing too. Do aliens live among us? Like, to me, and you can hate me in these comments, but there is something wrong with President Biden. It's almost like his computer programming shuts off for a second. And then he starts to like you ever remember those robot movies where robots like
I think he's just way too old and he doesn't have a good memory.
That's a whole other topic about
Can't get into Biden.
people in government. There should be, they always say you have to be 45 to run for this office.
I think it's 35.
Whatever it is, there should be a cap too.
Yeah, there should be a cutoff date.
How old is Biden? Like 185?
Pretty much, but I don't know anyone his age that is in the right mind enough to run
Which
a
then
household.
circles me back, since you brought up presidency stuff. It's like all the conspiracy theories about like the TV shows like The Simpsons. Having created these episodes of things 20 years ago that
Before
are
they
now
happened.
happening in real life. How is that possible? Like the whole Trump thing. That's like the biggest one. How did The Simpsons predict that Trump was going to be president? Right down to like actual like, public events that he's done where like the pictures are taken and they're actual images that are identical to like what are in these episodes of the show.
Here's my theory on that. My theory is we live in a simulation and The Simpsons is a whistleblower.
But who, like, how does the producer or whoever's writing these know this stuff? Who are they?
He's part of the programming of the simulation.
Oh man.
This topic can go in
We're
so
getting
many
deep.
directions, guys.
Rabbit hole.
I love how QAnon is
Far from reality.
on the
It
top.
leads me to believe that this is a Republican writer.
No way. No. Because Q is like, yeah, I wouldn't say detached from reality. He's a little out there, but
But it exists. Doesn't QAnon actually exist?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a conspiracy theorist.
So maybe they're saying
He
that
has his own
he's-
following group, so maybe that's why, because there are a lot of people follow him, but
So you have the Area 51 UFOs, and we can probably talk for hours. And if we brought my brother-in-law in on this, it would be a couple hour long. It would have to be parts and parts. Because the thing that he does is he doesn't just say that I believe in those things. He really researches a lot. He spends a lot of time researching the things that he says that he believes in.
Right.
You know, and he can cite things of where he got that information from and everything. I think we should do another episode of this. Find out ones that he's passionate about and bring him on.
That'd be
about
fun.
them. Yeah. So also in that one is the Epstein didn't kill himself conspiracy.
oh, Epstein did not kill himself.
I think he's...
Speaking of,
I just watched a show about Epstein. It was a show called The Good Fight, and they were looking for Epstein, and did this whole thing where he's frozen in one of his places. He's just frozen. He's not dead.
oh my God. I'm sorry, but I can't get it on some of these conspiracies. I think they make conspiracy theorists look crazy. And then we get a bad reputation.
You're going to say something.
Did anyone keep up on the Ghislaine Maxwell case?
I only catch up on... So I follow this girl on TikTok called Under the Desk News. Not girl. It's a they. They are a they, them. If you listen to this, I'm sorry. I misgendered you. But I only catch little updates on that, so I don't really understand the whole... who that is and what led to her being in court.
I'm not sure that I'm 100% familiar with this case. Maybe just not the name.
She was just on trial. She's Epstein's partner, pretty much.
Okay.
I don't think they were married. I'm not even sure that they were, like, together, but they were.
Well, he had a wife.
They were partners,
Yeah.
and she helped him with all of the
Sex.
Grooming and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't she go on the run for a little while?
She got his clients, or whatever you want to call them.
Okay. I got the
Victims
people mixed
for
up. I
him.
was thinking of something else, but...
Okay. So I am familiar a little, I guess. I just didn't recognize the name.
I
Yeah.
can't talk too much into the Epstein thing because I haven't researched it, but from what I've seen, it's fucking crazy.
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Not
Yeah.
not the conspiracy. No, the things that went on
Oh,
is fucking crazy. Like
Yeah.
the grooming, and
The
you
things
know
that
they're
have
saying
been
that
proven.
Trump was involved and the Clintons were involved,
Yeah.
and all these high leaders and actors and things like that. And it's like,
Even like Oprah and Ellen and stuff, they said were involved, didn't they?
do you know that Oprah talks about this product for your face that's supposed to like help with wrinkles and stuff like that. Do you know what one of the ingredients is in it? And maybe this is a conspiracy theory.
no, it's not.
Baby foreskin.
I mean, I guess it's kind of similar to like stem cell type stuff, right? Like,
But does like this company that makes this product have like contracts with insurance with hospitals that says when you circumcise the boys, we want all the foreskins?
I guess. Ew.
Okay.
Ew. Just no.
And kind of in that speculation line, following along with the Epstein Area 51 UFOs, is that we live in a simulation.
We do. Those are my beliefs.
Let's have a topic. Let's do an episode on simulation.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole different topic.
So now she says that anything above that, you're kind of leaving reality, right? And up there is the Titanic never sank. And I kind of briefly saw that last night. I kind of looked at the top conspiracy
I think
theories.
that's stupid. Why does it matter?
Well, and the ship is in the bottom, right? Or at least we're told. But I feel like I've watched Discovery shows where they went in there with cameras
Yeah.
and stuff. And
what
But
does it
is that the
matter?
Titanic or is it a different sunken ship? I mean, I guess that could be possible.
but then why not call it that ship?
Yeah. Why would it be of that big of importance to even make it a conspiracy theory?
Well, I mean, if not saying that I believe in this conspiracy theory, but just a logical reason why they would make it one. Did something happen where they either took or killed off a bunch of those people and needed an explanation? Because that voyage on the Titanic had a lot of different people on there for a lot of different reasons.
Right. There's different classes of people on that ship.
Right.
Maybe it was like Epstein's thing, and it was a whole bunch of people from that time.
You never know. And maybe that's why the movie was created too, was to give this
Cover that
different
more.
this
Oh,
different
man.
storyline
We are just
and
creating new
distract from the
conspiracies.
real tragedy that happened. Because people, a lot of people really believe that the movie is the true story, and it's not. That's all a made up
Yeah.
story of something that happened on the Titanic.
Well, they had to make it into like
it's
a
like-
love story so people
Yeah.
cared.
But it's like, was that a distraction from people actually looking at the real story because they created this beautiful movie
Right.
that people wanted to believe versus what
Right.
really happened?
Right. Also on there is like Elvis lives. Stevie Wonder isn't blind.
But why? And how is this so high up on the list?
Yeah, it floats in the middle as just barely leaving reality.
It's
Why
not
would
leaving
what
reality.
would be the point of him not being blind and faking it?
Because a lot of artists have
It's his gimmick.
their product, their
Yeah.
gimmick,
But
who
if
they
he
are.
if he lives it up, then like if that's how he lives, why would it matter?
Okay, we're almost done, okay?
It's not like he's gonna
Sure.
come out and be like,
Just wait 1 minute.
"Guys, I'm not blind." No, he's too far in now.
Yeah.
So the next level of the iceberg above that is just... Wait, no.
Unicorns?
I think I'm reading this wrong.
No,
I gotta read about it. So,
Yeah.
reality
Reality
denial
denial.
is the Titanic and Elvis and all that kind of stuff. And now it's the anti-Semitic point of no return. And in there, which is kind of a thing, which I did read some stuff on, is 5G. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever actually been in a city that has 5G. Like down in the cities, my phone will drop into 5G. It actually, it doesn't work very well. Like, I feel like my phone is slower. And I kind of think that's where the conspiracy theories come in, like 5G isn't all that great. 4G LTE works just fine. But there's talks about the 5G waves are different and fly lower
And are more harmful.
and more harmful. The waves are more harmful. Talking about impotency with men and other things like that.
I don't know enough about it
Right.
That's my thought
and the
too.
science, but I would think that we get radiation from everything, and we get waves from everything.
Right. Even just your microwave.
Yeah, so like how many people have a cell phone? Our cell phones are all right next to us. Like if you're that worried about 5G, then you really need to reevaluate a lot of things, not just
I will tell you, if you're worried about it, you can shut off 5G on your phone in your settings on a lot of phones. So another one is Biden is a robot. Which I don't feel like that's a
You're
no
at the
return.
point of no return.
I'm at the point of no return. He just, I can't. Biden's a whole other topic for me. And yeah. Another one is COVID is a bioweapon. So there is a conspiracy that COVID was created to lower the population of
I thought this
the
was
world.
a non-topic for us
It is. So
I'd
that's-
agree with that one.
because
Yeah, I don't disagree with it.
I don't. That's a good answer. I don't disagree with that.
And I think what it is I remember I went to my doctor and we were talking about COVID vaccines, and she was like, well, you know, they've been testing vaccines they've been testing this vaccine for like 10 years now. And that kind of like confused me. And if I sound stupid to you on the podcast, I don't care. This is my thoughts. Is like, if you've been testing it for 10, you just been holding on to COVID, just waiting to release it.
Right, I thought it was new, something nobody knew ever existed.
Right. But you're telling me that they've been testing this vaccine for COVID for 10 years now. Like, we can't get into COVID because there's this whole thing about,
We can't get into COVID.
you know, freedom of what goes into my body.
We will lose
I have to say
over
one more.
half of our followers.
I have to say one more thing.
So we'll go down to 7.
Yeah.
I have to say one more thing. I don't disagree with it being a bioweapon, but I think the information that we're being fed about it is more so the weapon than the virus itself.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I'm going to leave it at that.
that's very well stated, Bree.
Also in that category is that global warming is a hoax. And see, I don't understand that. How is that detached from a point of no return? Like I've mentioned in previous episodes about, I watched that Life Below Zero, and in it they literally talk about, you know, the ice and the snow living up there and how their ancestors have been living there for hundreds of years, and all these changes are happening. Also in there, I read one last night, and maybe this is where the global warming hoax comes in, is that our Earth is actually hollow. That there is no core.
I think that's just
I
kinda
don't know
stupid.
about that one.
Yeah, but I just don't understand the whole global warming. I feel like it's happening. There's physical signs that it's happening.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know enough about it to really say one way or the other, but
But it kind of makes
I
you
only
wonder.
know what we've learned in school, which who knows what's real anymore.
Well, here's the deal. It's like my mind always wanders, right? So I'm just going to word vomit here. So they talk about we are the reason that global warming is happening, right? Mm-hmm. Emissions from what we do, from our vehicles, from plants, not from plants, but from like warehouse plants.
yeah.
But I also wonder, like, they talk about the life of a star. And I know that we don't live on a star, we live on a planet. But if a star can die out, why can't a planet die out naturally?
Well, because a star, though, is made up of only gases.
But what's in our core?
I don't know, I guess.
They're like, man, we haven't researched this enough. It's just where I go. So, is there magma in the core?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I skipped school a lot.
We should have learned that in school. I can picture, like
the-
picture in my
like
book of,
different
like, the layers of the earth.
Yeah, it looks like a jawbreaker, right?
Yep.
The different
Yeah.
jawbreaker
Yep.
layers you get to.
Yep.
Let's just stop talking. We're making ourselves look terrible.
There's also about like chemtrails. So I did read about that one last night. Chemtrails is saying that when you see a jet flying in the air, this is what I think.
Not
it is.
just a jet. You see the pattern.
Those lines that you
Yep.
see in the sky are actually chemicals being released.
And I fully believe that. And I mean, Mom will tell you stories of when she was younger and they had specific days that they would do it. And you weren't supposed to go outside or something because
Right.
it was unsafe to breathe the air out there.
Oh.
And you couldn't, yeah, I don't know.
Also in that
I'm probably
category
mixing that up.
is Wayfair trafficking. Do you guys remember that big story
Oh my
about Wayfair
gosh.
trafficking?
Yes, and I believe that.
I have been very involved in that. And I believe it.
Remember
So-
that weird chair we ordered? And it came with a whole cubby underneath that you could put something in. A small child.
So for those
Well,
of
I
you
don't
don't,
necessarily think that they used actual furniture. I think they like they didn't use the furniture to hide the children in there.
well, they had to say
it was
sit in
just
something
like a-
comfortable.
No.
So Wayfair trafficking.
Like they just
I remember it came out a couple years ago, that Wayfair was sex trafficking children through their shipping department. Is that fair to say? That they were basically shipping children, and I think Epstein kind of got roped a little bit part of that as well
Yeah.
into that.
Not necessarily shipping children, but the website descriptions for selling
Oh, that's right.
services.
That you were actually buying a child
Yeah.
on the website.
Crazy.
That's jeez.
It's
Now,
so
to me,
sick.
that's not too far of a point of no return. I mean, we live in a city where sex trafficking is very high because we have a Great Lake that is a shipping port that touches the ocean, that reaches the ocean at some point.
Right.
So our sex trafficking here in our twin ports is high. We got missing Indigenous women that are being sex trafficked. They're kind of the highest level of people that are sex trafficked. So I don't think it's too crazy to believe that a company wouldn't pick up on it.
Yeah. I don't think that's crazy to believe at all. And
I think people don't want to believe it because it's sick.
I
And
think
it
does
makes
fall that
people
line.
so
Yeah.
uncomfortable that they're like, no one would ever do that. But it happens all the time. Like, it happens here.
well, I mean, as sick as it sounds to even, because I don't look at it this way, but just when you pull your personal views out of it, pedophiles exist, right?
For sure.
Anything that has a demand, there is somebody willing to supply.
Right. You got black market
And
for
that's
everything.
what it boils down to, supply and demand. There are people out there that do not have a moral code, and if it's a way for them to make $1, they're going to do it. And there's the people out there that are seeking that product, essentially. Like, I know it's sick to call it that, but that's essentially what's happening.
Yeah. That's the thing is when you have supply and demand,
Yeah.
you know.
And, we have to remember, too, that there is a point in time where these things were actually allowed.
Yeah, they're illegal.
So, when you take something that somebody's already, it's already accepted to a point in society and make it illegal, people are still going to find a way to do that. It's not just going to go away.
Right.
It's like when they did the whole, like, what was it called? Like the, like prohibition or whatever, when you couldn't have Alcohol?
Yep. But there was still alcohol.
But then there's bootleggers.
Right.
There's always going to be that, and I don't know. It's been happening, and it's going to continue to happen.
I think it's crazy. I think it's not happening.
Yeah.
If you don't think it's happening, you're crazy.
I mean, I've even seen it here in our hometowns on news articles. I don't know if you've seen a couple years back where a woman was charged for selling her own child.
Yes.
I mean, it's happening right in our own back doors some of the time. And, I mean, so if a parent can do it to their own child, what makes you think a stranger won't do it to a random child?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It's sick.
So now they have this last level, which is totally detached from reality, right? And some of these I don't know, but I did see one yesterday, the Holocaust denial. The Holocaust never actually happened.
I think that's so insensitive. Even if it didn't happen.
Right.
Like,
There is a
why do we need to
whole
make a
generation
conspiracy?
of generations of people
Yeah.
that still lived it.
Right. There's hundreds of survivors. There's people who were involved in committing those acts that have come forward later in their life and admitted to it. And how is that even... That is crazy.
This one I'm kind of annoyed by. This detached from reality is saying that the Illuminati is detached from reality.
See, and I...
Like, I'm a huge believer the Illuminati
Yes.
exists.
Yeah.
It's here, and it's been here
Yeah.
for longer than any of us have been alive.
I think it would be very dumb to us just. Wow, we're gonna have even less followers now.
Well,
But
I
I
think-
think it would be dumb to think that our government is like top of the line.
Right.
I agree.
And all of these countries have their government, but ours is top of the line. No. No.
There's people that run the government.
Yeah, and I've kind of always said this. I know you guys have heard me talk about it. Like, even within our own government, like, you can call it left, right, red, blue, Democrat. Like, I think they give us these other, parties or whatever they're calling them to make us believe that there's not something blanketing all of that. That it doesn't boil down just to that government. There's this smaller hierarchy that is really controlling everything that is behind the scenes that they don't want us to know even exists.
Yeah, I'm a little curious. I almost feel like I want to reach out to the person that created this
Oh,
chart
she's definitely a liberal.
and interview her.
Definitely.
Yeah, like where are these thoughts coming from? That
Right. Because I understand like something like detached from reality, flat Earth.
Have you looked into the flat Earth theory?
I've watched a few
I've
documentaries
watched a
on
couple,
it.
yeah.
It's so interesting. I'm not saying I'm a flat earther. I'm just saying that the theory makes sense and it's super interesting to think of it like
Right.
that.
Right.
Because, like, earlier when you brought this topic up, you said, to believe that we're the only flat planet. Well, how do you know the other planets are not flat or even exist?
Because the media and government tells us so.
Right. Right. Like, the same government that can just say Pluto's no longer a planet.
And who runs NASA? The government. They're all governmentally funded.
Exactly.
And where do we
Things.
learn these things?
Well, and
In
my
public school.
and my
funded
husband
by
was
the
just
government.
talking about last week or the week before, Russia had launched something into space, and of course, we as Americans in our news was all like, "Oh my God, Russia!" No one fucking owns space.
Right.
America does not own space. Like, you don't own parcels of space.
Right. Is it like airspace owned? Like.
Well, the concern is, what is Russia bringing back from space? And it's like, so I struggle a lot with how much control our government has or thinks they have over all these other individual countries.
Right.
Why do
Maybe they just made us think that.
But why do we have the right to say what other countries are allowed to do? But no one can tell us what we can do.
I don't have a good answer for that. There's just not one.
No.
You better watch out. You're going to be on that list. Joe Morales did not kill himself.
Right. Abby Richards. I mean, you can put me on detached from reality if you wish to. We're gonna go look at this picture. It's gonna say a queer, a hippie, and a Karen.
Yep.
Way up on top.
Yep.
What else do we got up here? I mean, it's kind of hard to read. Something about
Pizzagate.
what is Pizzagate?
That's the whole Justin Bieber thing, right?
I don't think of Justin Bieber when I think of it. I think of like Hillary Clinton. But
Does that have to do
Yeah.
with her emails?
yeah, and it had to do with children again, I believe. Child trafficking.
Child trafficking.
Yeah, but wasn't it more specific to like celebrity children and then being groomed in that?
Well, didn't Justin Bieber do a whole song about that in the video? In
Yes.
regards to his time
It's that
doing
yummy
that?
yum one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is just creepy to think about.
it is.
Even just the name of the song.
I showed Andrew that video. He's like, "What about this makes you think that?" And I'm like, "Look at all the innuendos. Like,
Well, that's like there's
it's like you're
this.
just eating a bunch of like treats and stuff." I'm like, "You're not catching like the back."
Well, and sometimes and artists do that, right? It's like the whole thing about nursery rhymes having a meaning back in the time they were created, and that artists subliminally put things into their songs that aren't what the average listener thinks it is, and I think a lot of artists do that.
Oh yeah.
So we are way over on this podcast by like 20 minutes.
Oh boy.
So we could go on and on. We could pick apart all these things. I think if we ever did something like that, we would spend our time researching more about where the thought process comes from and why this conspiracy even came to be. I do struggle a little bit with a conspiracy chart, only because it is the bias and the view of the person that created
Right.
that chart. Let's do one more quick thing. Let's do a quiz, since Willow is sleeping. I'm going to read you guys a series of 6 questions, right? And in each question, there are 4 statements. 3 are a conspiracy theory, and 1 is what WashingtonPost.com views as factual. So which of the statements below is true? Jeffrey Epstein, the billionaire accused of running an elite sex trafficking ring, was murdered to cover up the activities of his criminal network. Or President John F. Kennedy was killed by a conspiracy rather than by a lone gunman. There was an article talking about last night about John F. Kennedy that the government actually had him killed. The FBI kept tabs on civil rights leaders such as the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., attempting to find compromising information and damage his reputation. Or number 4, regardless of who is officially in charge of the government and other organizations, there is a single group of people who secretly control events and rule the world together.
Okay, so this is not what we think is the true one.
This is what
This
Washington
is what-
Post thinks is the fact.
Which would be the census, right? Because the census of people believe what media and government tell them is true. That's my theory on it.
I think the Martin Luther King
Yeah, that
one
would
is
be my
the,
vote.
is the one. Yep.
Even though I agree with the other 3.
It does say
Right.
Being true.
that is correct. It says the other 3 statements are unfounded conspiracy theories. JFK was killed by a lone gunman. There's no secret government running the world. And the available evidence suggests that Epstein did kill himself.
When the news tells you there's no secret government running the world, that is definitely a red flag that there is a
Right.
secret government running the world.
Right. Why is there a need to say that?
But they do say that...
You know, that's like when you walk into the room and like your kid's standing there all quiet and they're like,
I didn't eat the cake.
I didn't.
chocolate's
spill
all over
that."
their
Like,
face.
Oh, you didn't, did you?
It does say that roughly half of Americans think Epstein was murdered, and 4 in 10 people believe in a JFK conspiracy, and a third of the population think a small organization runs the world.
I'm surprised they're so low, especially the Epstein one.
50% of Americans think that Epstein was murdered, that he didn't kill himself.
I think that one would be higher, but
Okay, so partisanship plays a role in what people believe, right? That goes back to Democrat, Republican, left, right. Both Republicans and Democrats are prone to believe conspiracy theories that make the other party look bad. Can you pick the true statement, or will you be blinded by party loyalty? Number 1, Republicans cheated their way to win the 2000, 2004, and 2016 presidential elections. Number 2, Hillary Clinton conspired to provide Russia with nuclear materials. Number 3, during Ronald Reagan's presidency, government officials secretly and illegally sold weapons to Iran and used the money to fund Nicaraguan, I can't say that word very good, but revolutionaries. And the last one, Barack Obama faked his citizenship to become president.
C.
I think C too.
Even though, again, I have views on all of those.
Well, and that goes back to, you know, when we talk about illegally selling weapons to Iran, that brings up another story in my head, just not a conspiracy theory, but we just recently left the Middle East, right? Where did we just leave?
The Middle East.
Like, we had to leave, like, immediately. And all the years that we spent there training those people, and not everything could be taken. So now they have vehicles, tanks.
Our fighter jets, everything, yeah.
Yeah, and they're saying that they tried to, you know, like, break things and stuff like that. They can fix things. You can fix broken things.
Right.
Something separate. So the other 3 statements are conspiracy theories. Republicans won fairly in 2000, 2004, 2016. But 4 in 10 Democrats say they didn't. There's no evidence that Clinton conspired with Russia, and Obama is a natural-born U.S. citizen. Yet, more than 4 in 10 Republicans subscribe to each theory. Where's the other ones? 3. Conspiracy theorists commonly seize on subjects that most people have little expertise in, such as health and science, and therefore cannot easily be debunked. Half of Americans believe one of the claims in the list below, but only one is backed by evidence. Which of these is true? Number 1, the dangers of genetically modified foods are being hidden from the public. Number 2, the U.S. government secretly dosed Americans with LSD in an attempt to develop mind control technology. Number 3, the AIDS virus was created and spread around the world on purpose by a secret organization. I think you could put COVID-19 in there as well. Mm-hmm. And number 4, the coronavirus was purposely created and released by powerful people as part of a conspiracy.
And one of those is true because I feel like they all seem like media would tell you they're not.
Well, if you thought about it, there's a large population of people that said that the AIDS virus was created to rid the world of LGBT people.
I think it's A, because they talk about GMOs a lot.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? GMOs?
GMOs, yeah.
I thought it was to rid the world of, not the L.
It was to rid the world of gay men.
I thought it was to rid the world of black men, actually.
Well, it was gay men and black men. Those were the highest population of people are getting AIDS or HIV.
Okay.
So.
We were all wrong. People do not believe that. Seriously?
They're saying the correct answer is the CIA dosed Americans with LSD in an attempt to develop mind control technology. The project known as MK Ultra was halted in the 1970s.
I think I've watched a few shows on that, actually.
MK Ultra, I didn't know that was LSD.
So some conspiracy theories are like astrology, entertaining nonsense that ultimately doesn't hurt anyone. But some are bizarre, sinister, or downright offensive. Which of these statements, if any, is correct? Carter, you're loud. School shootings, such as those in Newton, Connecticut, and Parkland, Florida, are false flag attacks perpetrated by the government. Number 2, the number of Jews killed by the Nazis during World War II has been exaggerated on purpose. Number 3, satanic sex traffickers control the government. Or number 4, none of the above.
All of the above?
That's all of the above is not an option.
Well, that's my vote.
Oh, what was the first one again?
School shootings were perpetrated by the government.
Well, none of the above is going to be the correct answer.
I feel like they only gave that one because that's the one
Yeah.
to choose.
But
I don't know if I'd go far as like the satanic sex.
oh yeah, that's the one I do believe.
Washington Post says that these statements are gruesome and obviously false. But in 2020, each one received support from roughly 1 in 6 Americans.
I don't believe that. Well, it's not that I don't believe the conspiracy about the school shooting. I just think it wouldn't benefit anyone, and it's sad if it did happen.
Yeah.
So which of the 3 statements below is true? Number 1, the U.S. government knew hundreds of black men in Alabama had syphilis, but told them they had bad blood and withheld treatment as part of a medical experiment.
Yep.
I feel like I watched a documentary on that. Number 2, President Donald Trump faked having COVID-19 in order to help his chances at re-election. It was weird that he had COVID-19 and then he got some sort of treatment and like the next day he was back. Mm-hmm. Or number 3, Donald Trump colluded with Russia to steal the presidency in 2016.
Well, the first one actually is true. And it's sad that more people don't know about that.
Yeah. I think everybody should watch something based on, it's called the Tuskegee experiment. It started in 1932, lasted 40 years, and involved hundreds of black men in Macon County, Alabama.
Sad.
The other two options are false, based on Washington Post, which we talked about media. Trump had COVID-19, and Robert S. Mueller III, nonpartisan report found insufficient evidence of a criminal conspiracy between Trump and the Russian government. Oh, sorry we bore you, Tessa. Last question. Conspiracy theories often help powerful people, sometimes by putting other powerful people in the crosshairs or by playing on prejudices. Which of these statements is correct? Number 1, a powerful family, the Rothschilds, through their wealth, controls governments, wars, and many countries' economies.
Yes.
Number 2, there is a deep state embedded in the government that operates in secret and without oversight. Or number 3, fossil fuel companies like Exxon knew about climate change for decades, but spread misinformation about the issue to deflect blame and influence environmental policies.
I think they're all true.
I'm going to go with C for the quiz, but definitely believe all of them.
So now this is crazy to me. So they're saying that C is true. But then when we were looking at that pyramid, they were talking about global warming hoax. Now I'm wondering if the global warming hoax is the opposite, where people believe that global warming isn't happening.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because then that contradicts itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this says Exxon and Shell knew about climate change in the 1980s, and some fossil fuel companies have fought to obscure climate science. Their efforts have paid off. 2 in 10 Americans think global warming is a hoax.
Interesting.
Well, it says we only missed 1 out of 6. But I feel like we answered this quiz based on what we thought Washington Post would believe is true. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of where we were going with the.
I think we're all conspiracy theorists.
I think we all are different levels
Yeah.
and even different areas of what we believe or don't believe.
Definitely.
On that note, this podcast is an hour long.
And we're out.
And we're out. Talk to you next time.